Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Dabe, and today I'm going to be doing some comparisons of gear for strength training. So as you can see, I have all of these different strength weapons. The only one I'm not going to use is the Staff of the Dead because I feel like it's kind of repetitive. With the update today, with the Inferno, they released a new armor that gives you an increased damage to Obsidian weaponry. So a lot of people have always really wanted Obsidian weaponry, myself included, to be a good way of training strength, but it never has been. So with this armor, it actually gives a strength bonus on top of actually having an increase to Obsidian weaponry damage. So I'm going to be testing out all of these different things for 30 minutes each. I will also be testing with the Dragon Scimitar because some people are 60 attack, and this actually does apply to people who are 60 attack, so you can compare just those two parts of the video if you'd like. But I will also be comparing it to the Abbey Dagger, the Sar Sword, and the Abyssal Bludgeon. All of these will be done in absolute max gear, so it should be absolute max experience. I'm going to make sure I start the timer at the exact same time for each and every one, and in NMZ with the same bosses every time, so it should be a fairly controlled environment. So I should put an asterisk in front of what I said earlier. I did just start the run with this. I should put an asterisk in front of what I said earlier. We aren't in absolute max because I am still using a fire cape and not the Inferno cape. So, you know, that should be mentioned. The Inferno cape would obviously be helping me get a bit more experience. But since the Inferno cape was just released today, as of the recording of this, no one even has it yet, so. Alright, there we go. That is our 30 minutes done with our first armor set, which was the Obsidian armor set. It actually was kind of cool. The hits were a lot more consistent than I expected, and if I'm not showing it on the screen, I'll just say it right now. We got 99.2k XP per hour with this one, so now I'm going to switch it up into Bandos and probably the Dragon Sim, and we'll try that one. Just finished up the round with the Dragon Sim, and I'm actually really surprised. I only got 91k XP an hour with this setup, so that's pretty interesting to me. So that actually means that the Obsidian setup is stronger. This is actually kind of a relevant thing for piety accounts, like 60 attack piety accounts. So I guess if you're a 60 attack piety and you're trying to train, it's actually better to use the Obsidian armor with the Obsidian sword. That's pretty cool. I'm going to test out the Sar Sword next, and we will see if that's better. And we just came up on the end of our 30 minutes with a Sar Sword. Actually, still surprised because this is 96.2k XP per hour, which means that the Obsidian armor and Obsidian sword with a Berserker necklace is actually still better. And it's definitely a shitload cheaper than this setup, which means that it's, in my opinion, kind of a new meta, because the next two setups are going to be a Bludgeon and an Abyssal Dagger, both of which alone are worth more than the entire set, plus the necklace and the sword. So that's kind of weird. I guess something to keep in mind is that with all the setups, I am going to be using Prims and a Berserker ring, so that's included in there. The only thing that's really getting switched out would be like the Bandos and the Torture, but regardless, like, that's a pretty cheap alternative to this, so I think it's definitely relevant. Alright, the next lot down, this one didn't, it's actually crazy to me because even this one, like Abbey Dagger, and I was using the specs on it too. I wasn't using, like, none of the other shit had specs to use, so I wasn't using Power Surge or anything, but even this one, 98.5k XP per hour, which means that even this setup with the Abbey Dagger, at least in the time that I was doing it, which granted is a fairly small sample size, doesn't beat training with the Obsidian armor. I want to state a couple things here before I go and use the Bludgeon. First of all, the Bludgeon is supposed to be the best thing to train with if you're not a Darocker. However, the main comparison I wanted to make in this video was the Obsidian armor with the necklace and everything versus a Dragon Scimitar, because piety accounts have had to train with a Dragon Scimitar for a long time, like 60 attack piety accounts. And with this, it's actually going to be a pretty big game changer because it's even beating the 70 attack weapons, which is crazy to me. And once again, granted, this is a very small sample size. It's 30 minutes, so even though it's 30 minutes of consistency because it's Nightmare Zone, with a longer sample or a longer period of time, there is a chance that the XP rates will fluctuate a little bit. We are done, or just about done, with the last weapon, and that is the Bludgeon. It's pretty incredible. I know I've said crazy a million times in this video. I'm sorry. I really just can't think of a better word, but this is, I think, the exact XP per hour we were getting with the Obsidian weaponry. So I am just very surprised that something like that is actually as powerful as it is. I'm going to go ahead and close this video out by saying this armor is extremely strong for when you're training in something like Nightmare Zone, but something that needs to be kept in mind is that a lot of the time when if you're like maybe a lower level account using those other weapons, if you're a 60 defense account using those other weapons, whatever, you're going to be on a Slayer task if you're training, so you're obviously not going to have the full set on, and the 10% increased accuracy and damage only occurs when you have the full set on. So if you're doing stuff off task, this is a really cool alternative. Also, I don't have a Dragon Defender on, so let's just fix that really quick. I was just using the bludgeon, I'm sorry, I just wanted to do this to look pretty. So this is pretty interesting. It's very cheap. It's about 6 mil for the full set, including the B-neck. So I guess I found out what I wanted to find out. This is a very powerful training alternative to some of the currently existing things. And if you're a 60 defense account, or have over 60 defense for whatever reason, it's stronger than a Dragon Scimitar for off-task things. So if you guys enjoyed this video, then make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and all that fun stuff. And make sure you check out some of the other videos on my channel, or things that are going to pop up on your screen right now. And I will see you guys next time.